men. Do you relate at all to this?
Definitely. I think that's the flux.
Yeah.
Because you're not young anymore, but you're not old either.
Yeah.
Like, I might not be able to go to Topshop anymore, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I want to wear floaty things from the Debenhams old section. I don't know what that is. You see, I've not even been there yet. That means I'm still young. But like, while we have these yardsticks of what makes us young or old, when you're around 40, you don't know which one you are. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
So that's a crisis, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
And to not even know what shops you can go to and what clothes you can wear, that's a crisis in itself.
Yeah. It's representative of what's going on in your head, isn't it?
I used to go shopping and just know exactly what I wanted, go to it, try stuff on, enjoy trying stuff on. I'd have a day of it.
Yeah.
And then go for lunch and drink wine and it'd be ace. Whereas now, I find it frustrating and insulting and quite depressing because it's just like, well, they don't fit around my bum anymore and they don't even do my size anymore and yet, you know, she's turning her nose up at me.
Yeah.
So
it's the flux.
I
like the flux. That's a great one. That works really well. Oh, so how has you've touched on most of these things, but how has your life changed over the last decade?
Well, I go to bed earlier. I can't do 2 nights in a row not partying anymore. When I do go out and party, I need all of the next day to recover.
Yeah.
And they're big changes because you have to pick and choose, but I also get invited to less stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is I don't know if this is normal or if it's also because I suddenly have a family now. I don't know, but I feel like my invites are drying up. You can't just get out of bed anymore. You have to like prepare yourself to get out of bed, or is that just me?
I'm not allowed to influence you, but I would agree with all of these things.
There was a Frasier episode on a couple of nights ago, or some week, I don't know, at some point. And it was all about how Frasier was becoming middle-aged. And the dad was like, you're going to have to realise you're getting middle-aged. And one of the things that he said was, can he not get out of a chair without going, ugh, anymore? And I was like, oh my God, I'm middle-aged. That's me.
Yeah.
But I'm like, Pete, this is really bad because in another way, though, like, I went out a couple of weeks ago. I stayed out till 3.
Woohoo.
And with 3 people who are single. And one of them's a 44-year-old and 2 of them are just in the 30s. And so they're like on the pull, you know. And a big bit of me was like, I'm glad that's not me anymore.
That's very interesting. What bit? Why?
Well,
yeah,
I've snagged my man. I've got him now. And he's a good one. So there's that comfort that I don't feel a need to impress anybody.
Yeah.
I could actually go out in my pyjamas and it wouldn't really matter.
Yeah.
Because he wouldn't judge me. He just knows I like my pyjamas.
Yeah.
So that's a lovely weight off. But that still doesn't mean I don't want to look pretty and feel attractive. So, I don't know. I can't remember all these conversations about.
That's really great. No,
how life's changed.
How life's changed, and you're saying you went out with your friends and you weren't envious of what they were having
I thought
to
I
do.
would be.
Yeah.
When I found out 2 of them had got single at the same time, I was dreading this night out.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be like so like, oh, you're all like. But I wasn't. I was like, yeah, you go for it. If anything, I want to help them.
Yeah.
And like impart my wisdom and what I used to do when I used to be on the pole because it was successful for a good year.
Yeah. Well, and I thought this is an interesting one. You still want to feel pretty and attractive.
Yeah.
Despite it not being for
anybody
else.
Yeah.
Are you able to expand on that a little bit? Because I think that's quite an interesting thing about you.
Well, who doesn't want to feel attractive and admired?
Yeah.
And this is the problem, isn't it, with everybody, isn't it? We spend too much time thinking about what other people's perceptions are of us. And I think that as you get older, one of the benefits is you realise it doesn't really matter what other people think of you because they're going to think what they want to think. And I think it's kind of sad and tragic in a way that it's not until you're in your early 40s that you realise that fact. And if I had that information in my early 20s, I'd have had a much better time.
Yeah.
I'd have been much more relaxed. Well, none of this really matters. So now I want to feel attractive, and yeah, you know, if I catch a guy looking at me, it makes me feel great, and it also makes me feel a bit embarrassed that made me feel great, but it does.
Yeah.
And I would never act on it or anything like that. It's just like, oh yeah, I've still got it.
Yeah.
I've still got it.
Yeah.
And that's nice to know. And a bit of me fears being 60 and not having that anymore. But there'll be silver foxes who'll still look.
Of course
There's always going to be someone. So, and at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. But on some weird superficial level, it does.
Yeah.
And it's hard to marry those two up.
Ace. So, is there anything in your life that you would like to change?
I'd like a new back.
Yeah.
A new spine, particularly S1 disc. Some new feet, although I think they'll be fine soon. I don't want to have to dye my hair every 3 weeks. That's really tedious. The Tory government. The world. Anything I would like to change? I would like more security in the knowledge that whatever the next chapter is, I'm going to be able to start it without anyone judging me because of my age.
Right.
And I think that's why what a lot of it is like, you know, like, oh yeah, I've still got it. I think that mindset is to do with that, because you're no longer just in a job until you're 60 anymore.
No.
That doesn't exist anymore. So you have to then be able to compare yourself to young people who are energetic.
Yes.
And I think that's a little bit of why it still matters, that you still think you've got it. Because I'm going to have to go into this new life as Ned Psych, hopefully, or trying to be in this new life, with people 20 years younger than me.
Yeah.
And I know that I have more experience now that makes me better at life.
Yeah.
But I can't just say that. That can't be all I can say to get me into a job. I know more than them, so hire me.
Yeah.
I have to also show I can still use my brain in the same way, and I still have the same energy levels. So I'd like to know I've got a little bit more control over that when that happens.
Ace. So, back to being a woman again. Do you feel any expectations have been placed upon you as a woman? And I think what I'm trying to get at, any ones that are different to those expectations placed upon men in general. It's quite a big general question.
I think that's a kind of different answer for a woman in her early 40s to a woman in her early 20s. I think in your early 20s, definitely. I always felt like I had to behave in a certain way to show I had the strength, the inner strength that a man would. And I also felt more of a need to dress appropriately, because I think I think that's the power dressing thing. I think you have that more in your 20s.
Yeah.
And I think by the time you're in your 40s, you realise that doesn't matter as more. But there are definite expectations of, oh, do you know, this? I don't know if this is just me, because I'm quite a loud person, but I've often been a bit envious of women who can be quite meek and sophisticated and don't just say what's on their mind. Because I've never been that person, and I've known there's been a few instances of my life where men have said to me, you're doing better in that situation as a bloke, because you're all right being that gobby, as I think the word he used, but outspoken I think would be a better way of putting it.
Yeah.
And I think when you hit 40, I think there's almost more of an expectation you're going to be outspoken. Or whingy, some people might perceive it as, but I think you have there's more acceptance for you being outspoken in your 40s and your 20s, I think.
Cool. That's interesting. So, how do you feel about these expectations? Looking back at those on you when you were 20, what do you feel about those ones?
It's in the context of this #MeToo generation. I keep looking back at my 20s and thinking about all the things I should have slapped people in the face over. Like, I remember as an NQT, a male teacher stopping me in a corridor and saying him and another student were just talking about my arse. And like, in my 20s, I giggled it off. And in my 40s, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
And I think that, like,